Louisiana Beer Reviews looks at barrel ale from Anchor Barrel Ale here at 7:40 a.m. This is 7.5% alcohol. IBUs are unknown. Introduced in 2015, part of the Argonaut series. Anchor and the Argonauts. The plan was to be cutting this grass today. That's starting to look very doubtful. It's been raining since last night. The rain got kind of hard this morning. Oh man. Our tribute to pioneer brewer Fritz Maytag, who acquired Anchor Brewing in 1965 at age 27. So in 2016 he's 78. This company basically went out of business, I think, around 1965-66. There was like a period of about a year where there was no beer produced. Might have been 69 that they finally went kerplunked. Then he reformulated the company and basically he redid Anchor beer. People were complaining that it tasted bad. It was like a regional macro beer, sort of like Dixie beer in New Orleans or Old Style beer in Chicago, Stroh's beer in Detroit, same type thing. Alright, so 1971 he redid it as a craft beer. So it was kinda sorta the first craft beer in America. However, Pabst had been brewing craft style beers at least since the 30s with Old Tankard Ale and Craft and Pabst Bock, and Schlitz had been doing a similar type thing. So, you know, companies like Anheuser-Busch and Schlitz and Pabst and Miller would say, hey, wait a minute, we were doing these kind of beers for a long time, don't leave us out. Okay. In 1965, they sold 882 barrels of one beer. 7 years later, they launched the second brew, Anchor Porter. That's right, in 1972. And then they came out in 75 with Liberty Ale and the Anchor, which recently they started calling an IPA, which they never did before. And blah 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 blah. Okay, now it's a big old company. Oh, in '75 they also brewed their first Merry Christmas and Happy New Year beer, which they've done every year since the 75-76 Christmas New Year's season. And every year they have a different tree on the label, and it's always fun to get it and try it. And they always change the recipe a little bit at least. Okay, I bought this at the Red, White, and Brewed on US Highway 190. In Hammond, Louisiana. It was $2.99 for the bottle minus the discount. 10% discount if you buy 6 or more, and I bought about 9 plus tax. So goes back to about $2.99. Not a cheap beer, but not cheaply made. So you get what you pay for. If I wanted to go cheap, I would go get the Milwaukee's Best Premium out of the fridge, and I got that for $17.50 a 30 pack. So I've been saying that you get what you pay for. Thick beige head, spongy, and it's a brown appearance. I mean, it's just like slightly dark brown, reddish brown. Okay. And it's aged in a special type of whiskey barrel called, I didn't write it down, but they said it on here, Old Potrero rye whiskey. Ah, right. I wonder who owns Old Potrero. Potrero. Old Potrero. Okay, because a lot of these whiskey brands, you know, they'll seem, it's like beer, same thing with beer, like they'll seem as though it's a independent thing, and you'd be like, oh man, this little family wearing flannel shirts and have nose rings and tattoos, and they're so dedicated, you know, and they're working their craft. And you find out it's owned by Constellation Brands or the Sazerac Company. Well, oh well. Once again, if it tastes good and you enjoy it, what difference does it make if it's owned by the Rebel Alliance or Emperor Palpatine? If it's good, it's good. Okay, enough of the rant and rave with Jay. Rant and rave with Ronald. So, two-row caramel roasted and toasted barley malts. The hops are Nelson Sauvin, Citra, Cascade, Northern Brewer, Nugget, and Goldings. Gets an outstanding score on Beer Advocate. That's an A+. That's their second highest possible score. I think it was only 23 ratings though. It was over 100 on Rate Beer, like 100 and something. 102. 95 out of 100 on Rate Beer, and an 82 out of 100 for the style. So they love the beer, but in the style they don't love the beer. They like it. Alright. Now for our sampling pleasure and tasting delight. The aroma is very barrel aged. You get that oaky vanilla thing. That rye. Smells like rye bread. It's like a Reuben sandwich. I want a kosher pickle and some potato chips. I'm going. I ate a Reuben sandwich in Manhattan. What was that? It was like a famous movie site, and I went in there and I was like, why am I paying $17.50 for a Reuben sandwich and potato chips? I said, what a ripoff. Lots of malt, sweet malt and bread crust, and even some like creamy milkiness, which makes no sense, but that's what it smells like. It's a full nose. If you want to drink a beer with a full nose, drink this. Drink this. Look at that lacing. I think the creaminess is coming from all these bountiful and beautiful malts. It's creamy. It's full. It's a creamy mouthfeel. It's velvety. Oh yeah, the taste. But that's the mouthfeel, right? So it's really, really like California cool. Of course, San Francisco wouldn't be like really cool. You know, it'd be like more like California, like an angel, fire wheel burning in the air. You will not be able. Okay, sweet. I'm thinking on the sweetness scale, it's got to be like 3.5, 4 sugar cubes out of 5. So if you're not into sweet beer, you ain't gonna be into this. Coconut, a little rye, malt, bread crust, not dark bread, brown bread, but not dark. Brown bread crust. The IBU. It's not super bitter. I'm thinking like 35 IBU maybe. 2.5 out of 5 hop cones. There's one other video review and they really liked it, so I watched it. I mean, I watched it and I found out that they liked it. I didn't watch it because they liked it. Okay, the finish is kind of on the wet side, okay? If you want crisp, clean, and refreshing, and super dry, get Bud Light. If you want a wet, sweet, rich, luxurious finish, get this. And a lot of these are at Dorknack's too. Dorknack's does a lot of anchor stuff, okay? So Dorknack's on Veterans Boulevard, in Metairie, Louisiana, less than 1 mile west of New Orleans. That is the place to go. Well, that's the place to go for a lot of stuff. Because I've been buying brandy, I've been buying sherry, darling. I've been buying lots of beers over there at Dorgnac's. I like it because it's not overly done with the rye whiskey. Sometimes they're just overly done and they're like, it's got a lot of nice bitter, it's got the nice bitterness, not a lot, 35. It's got the sweetness, but not overly sweet. It's got the alcohol, 7.5, but not overly done. You wouldn't think it was 7.5. You really wouldn't. Now, when you drink Guinness Foreign Extra Stout, 7.5, you think it's 7.5. It seems like it presents the alcohol right there, overtly. This is more like, well, San Francisco subvert. It's subverted. It's, you know what I mean, subversive in its alcohol. Yeah. So I think it's really nice. I have to take one more sip because I'm trying to decide A or A plus. But okay. So right there, it's telling you. What's that telling you? A minimum, most excellent. It happens every day, in every way. This thing is so pleasant. I think I have to go to an A plus. So outstanding beer, not world class or anything like that, but outstanding beer from San Francisco. I was supposed to go there this year. It looks like those plans are being derailed. I didn't like all the homeless people harassing me, and the guy at the stadium, the Giant Stadium, was like, these are professional homeless people. They know where to get their money. The city gives them $400 a month to hang out and be bums. And they'll talk crazy like, and then when you start dealing with money, they're like experts. They're like, oh no, it's $17.36. And so that was a bit of a problem. It was like I was thinking to myself, man, there's a lot of heroin on these streets. I was at the Travelodge on Market Street, and I saw a lot of crazy people right where US 101 hits Market Street. It's a big intersection. It was a strange place. This is not Tez's Travel Tales, but I did go look at Keys-R Stadium, the little small high school stadium they have now. It used to be a big NFL stadium, but that was torn down. It was interesting at least to see the field and the monument plaque. Went to the old cathedral from 1776 that was tied together with leather straps that did not fall down in the earthquake, whereas the new cathedral did fall down. And then I went to the new cathedral from 1971 on top of a hill. It was beautiful. Went to mass there. It was fabulous. And then went to Chinatown, and I noticed there's two parts of Chinatown. There's like communist Chinatown and nationalist Chinatown. Because one's got all the Communist Party flags, and the other one's got all the Taiwan, Republic of China flags, and I have a feeling if they cross streets, there would be big rumbos. Went to Fisherman's Wharf? Fisherman's Wharf. Yeah, it's a tourist area, and yeah, I liked it. It was cool. Okay. I'm into tourist stuff. I was a tourist, so hello. Excuse me. Went to 3 games of Giants at the AT&T ballpark. Fabulous. And then I was wearing a jacket from Baton Rouge, and someone stopped me and said, excuse me, are you from Baton Rouge? I've been to that hardware store. And I was like, yeah, my grandpa started that hardware store in 1957, so that was interesting. Strange thing, everywhere I go, like literally almost every place I ever go on a road trip, and I've been to 48 states, 10 Canadian provinces, and every Mexican state that touches the United States, pretty much everywhere I go, someone will stop me and say, "Do I know you?" It's funny. Y'all come on down to New Orleans, Les Bon Ton Roulette. Great beer, great beer. We built this city